Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Riesinger. Janelle's off tonight. As the Memorial Day weekend begins, nearly half the nation remains under the threat of severe weather. CBS News' Omar Villafranca has the latest from Webbers Falls, Oklahoma.
Big wedge coming at us.
The outbreak of tornadoes and floods is expected to continue over the holiday weekend and into next week, targeting already saturated areas.
Every dot that you see on this screen shows you either a river that's at a moderate flood level or a major flood level right now.
Thousands across the central U.S. and Plain states are cleaning up the path of destruction left behind. In Jefferson City, Missouri, officials are working to restore electricity after Wednesday night's powerful tornado. It damaged an estimated 500 homes and buildings in the capital city.
This is very sad for us right now, but we're going to get through it by the grace of God.
The water here in Webbers Falls continues to rise, and there is more rain in the weekend forecast for the plains. If any amount of water, just a few inches, falls upstream, the water here could continue to swallow up homes downstream.
Sandy Wright is the mayor of Webbers Falls, Oklahoma, and her home is on the floodwaters front line.
We've flooded before, but nothing like this.
To control flooding around Tulsa, the Army Corps of Engineers began increasing the amount of water being released into the Arkansas River from the Keystone Dam.
We plan for the worst and hope for the best.
That water has to go somewhere, and communities downstream are flooding. Omar Villafranca, CBS News, Webbers Falls, Oklahoma.
Chief Forecaster Bob McGuire joining us now. And Bob, fortunately, our weather is a whole lot calmer here, and sounds like a good part of our weekend is shaping up to be
especially in the Billings area, because we're going to see some dry conditions as we start out the holiday season. Let me show you what's happening. Of course, we had some rain showers this morning, right? We wound up with about a quarter inch of rain in the Billings area, but since then that stuff has moved on, and now the thunderstorms are continuing to build in the west, but that's where they're going to stay. Meanwhile, on Saturday, looks like it's going to be warmer and drier in the east. Might see some showers and thunderstorms out in western Montana. Then on Sunday, those showers will eventually start moving into eastern Montana. Look for possible rain probably later in the day on Sunday. And again, on Monday, we're expecting some scattered showers. So here's how this whole thing's going to play out. The rain we had this morning was brought about by that low-pressure cell in North Dakota. That moves out of the area. Another storm moves in from the west, and that continues to maybe produce more showers out in western Montana. But we're still dry right on through Saturday, 10 p.m. Look at that. Then by Sunday, generally dry conditions until later on Sunday night, and then another batch of thunderstorms start moving in there. And then on to Monday, we'll probably see that whole line of showers move back into Billings. We'll have more on that coming your way in a few more minutes.
All right, thank you, Bob. Well, Monday is Memorial Day, a time to remember our fallen heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. Q2's Rob Griggs gives us an idea of what to expect outside.
Well, hopefully you're making plans to attend one of the many area Memorial Day events this coming Monday. But with the cold, wet weather we've had over these past couple of weeks, you might be curious as to how the forecast for this Memorial Day compares to years past. Now, by far, the wettest Memorial Day was just last year, 2018, right on the heels of all that record snowfall. We picked up 1 1/1300ths of an inch of rain last Memorial Day. Now, as for this coming Memorial Day, the forecast is calling for a pretty good chance of rain showers and thunderstorms. And if we were to pick up, say, 4/10 of an inch of precipitation, that would tie us for the 5th wettest Memorial Day on record, and that's not out of the question. Our coldest ever Memorial Day was back in 2011, when we struggled to reach a high of only 47 degrees. Monday's forecast high, only 54 degrees, and that would tie us for the 5th coldest Memorial Day. Well, regardless of what the final numbers will be, it looks like right now you'll want to dress accordingly for cooler and wetter than average weather. In Billings, Rob Griggs, MTN News.
All right, thank you, Rob. And there are a number of Memorial Day services planned for Monday across the Q2 viewing area. Here are just a few of them. Terrace Gardens in Billings will hold a ceremony beginning at 9 a.m. That will be in the Smith West Chapel. Mount View Cemetery on Central Avenue will start its ceremony at 10 a.m. Also at 10, the Shepherd Lions Clubs will host a service at the Shepherd Cemetery. And at 11:45, the Yellowstone National Cemetery in Laurel will hold a service to honor those who paid the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. U.S. Senator Jon Tester will be among the speakers for that program. Well, today, the USS Billings Commissioning Committee unveiled 5 street signs that are going to be hung in the new ship. Those signs will be hung in the corridors of the USS Billings to decorate the ship and represent the city of Billings. 5 street signs to make the cut. King Avenue, Grand Avenue, Montana Avenue, Central Avenue, and Rimrock Road. The idea was inspired by the USS Missouri, which has a central passageway that runs through the ship called Broadway. The commission thought it was a great idea, approached the USS Billings captain with the idea, and he got on board.
We chose those, our committee did. I sent out a list of different names of all the different cities, streets in town, and these are the list we came up with. So we're quite pleased that Billings streets will be well represented on our ship.
The U.S. Navy has announced that the USS Billings will be commissioned on Saturday, August 3rd in Key West, Florida. Agriculture and business, that's what has led to a U.S. Customs and Border Protection decision to not cut hours at the ports of entry in Montana. In February, the CBP announced it was cutting hours. However, after meetings with U.S. citizens living along the border, the agency will change the schedule. Now, the Port of Raymond will be open 24 hours, while ports in Morgan, Opheim and Scobie will be open from 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. year-round. During a telephone news conference, Senator Steve Daines and Congressman Greg Gianforte talked about Canadians watching drag racing in Malta and a farmer needing to go to Canada for parts. Now, during a telephone news conference, apparently,
if a farmer is harvesting his crop and a tractor breaks down, the combine breaks down, and he's got to go to Regina to get that part. Changing the hours here, just a few hours can make the difference.
The Morgan port was a port that we had a lot of feedback, particularly from the folks in Malta. There's an opportunity there, for example, some of these races in the summertime to make sure we can have some flexibility for longer hours if needed so that Malta's community can benefit from Canadians coming down and spending money in town.
According to Daines and Gianforte, hours at ports can be extended for special events that help communities economically. Well, Helena Mayor and Democrat U.S. Senate candidate Wilmot Collins now facing a hit-and-run citation. Collins is believed to have hit a Butte woman's vehicle and drove away. Collins says he didn't realize he'd even hit the woman's vehicle until she confronted him in a parking lot. Police determined there was minimal damage to both vehicles, but sent the case to the county attorney, who chose to cite Collins. Collins has admitted to his mistake and has offered to cover the damages. Come Sunday, hundreds of seniors will walk across the stage and into the next phase of their lives. Q2's Samantha Sullivan caught up with School District 2 Superintendent Greg Upham to talk about his first year on the job in Billings.
This weekend, the culmination of years of hard work for over 1,000 students in School District 2.
I'm excited for graduation. Obviously, 1,170 as of right now, which can change by the minute. They're pulling, it's like a horse race. Let's get you through there. But seeing the families, part of the graduations, and we expect 5,000 to 7,000 people for each graduation, and it's just the culminating events for K-12 public education.
It's an exciting time for students and their families, but also for Superintendent Greg Upham, who's finishing out his first year at the helm of the Billings Public Schools.
Well, it went so fast, I don't even know that it's coming to an end. Honestly, it's just been an extremely quick year.
It was May of 2018 when Upham first accepted the job, setting some lofty goals of passing a high school operational levy, something that hadn't been done in over a decade.
Just passing of the levy was a huge win for our entire district and our students and community. And I've said this time and time again, the people have been just absolutely outstanding.
In Billings, Samantha Sullivan, MTN News.
Upham says next year he wants to continue the district's focus on student achievement, mental health of students, and preparing kids for careers once their high school days are over. Graduation is quickly approaching, with all 4 high schools hosting ceremonies this Sunday in Billings. The first senior high students will graduate at 10 a.m. Then at 2, the West graduates will walk the stage. At 6, Skyview seniors will graduate. All 3 of those ceremonies will be held at the Rimrock Auto Arena. Students at Billings Central will also graduate Sunday evening. Their ceremony is on campus. That goes from 6 until 8 p.m. And Laurel High School will also graduate on Sunday. That'll be at 1 o'clock at the school. Up next on Q2, Britain is losing its prime minister, and a murderer and kidnapper sentenced to prison. Those and other world headlines coming up after the break. And in sports, some gut-wrenching finishes today at your state track and field championships. Scott will take us inside all 4 meets.
You're watching MTN News with Janelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Breen. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.